Hello, gorgeous soul. Welcome to your weekly Soul Service Astrology update for the week commencing the 20th of December, 2021. Welcome. I'm Kel Gunter. I'm a 13-sign sidereal astrologer and the creator of Soul Service Astrology. What is Soul Service Astrology? It is a technique, a method, a practice, and a modality that can help you come back into deep cosmological and thus ecological reunion with our planet and with yourself. And why do I think that's so important? Because the biggest issue of our age is our current ecological crisis that stems from climate change, mass pollution, and mass extinction on our planet, based on essentially our overconsumption of the resources on this planet. Soul Service Astrology allows you a technique to come back into interconnection, which is one of the ecological and spiritual laws, to realize that we are not separate from the earth. We're not separate from the planets. How does Soul Service Astrology do that? It allows you to step back and have a lens, a bigger lens and perspective on your life within your soul. You go in and you inquire. It's not pleasant sometimes. It's extremely uncomfortable because you may need to change the way that you're doing things. But that's where I support you. I support you to step into your strengths, to embrace your challenges and to lean into them, because on the other side of challenges, there's usually a pot of gold. Soul Service Astrology is a 12-month professional training course which will make you an astrologer, but it will also make you an ecologically reconnected human being to this system. And then you will take your soul and your service and shine it into the world so that you can access your freedom to shine, so that then you can inspire others to come back into ecological and cosmological reunion. All right, let's get into this week's astrology. I will share my screen. 20th of December. Two things going on today. The first one is the sun is moving into Sagittarius. And as you can see, there's a bit of energy building over the next week as the energy moves deeper and deeper into Sagittarius. Venus is also going backwards in Sagittarius. So with our closest star and our only star really that gives us life here on Earth moving into Sagittarius, where the energy is building, that is creator energy. That is you stepping into really authentic self so that you can shine at a higher potential. So Sagittarius is really about our philosophies, our beliefs, our higher potentials. It's expanding perhaps into areas that are a little bit beyond your belief. It's expanding into areas that maybe make you feel a little bit uncomfortable because you haven't gone there before. Just like our sun, when it was created, it started to shine, and it's been shining ever since into spaces that it didn't know existed. And look at all that it's created. So you could use that as an archetypal energy within your life, so that now that you can let your creator have a bit of fun, shine, liberate. Perhaps there's some things in your creativity that you've needed to liberate. Perhaps there's some things in your expression you want to get more authentic and you want to liberate them. Allow yourself to do that now over the next couple of weeks as the Sagittarian energy builds. The other thing that's happening on Monday is Chiron goes direct. So if you've been following me for a little while, you will have noticed that a lot of the planets are now going direct. All the outer planets, middle of 2021, were retrograde, and because they move so slowly, they're now starting to come direct. And Chiron is the second last one. Uranus will happen in January. So when we look at Chiron in our solar system is a comet. It's not huge. It has a story and a myth to it. So it has an archetypal energy to it. And the story and the myth is quite epic. So there might be something in that story and myth around Chiron. So two Greek gods had a baby, and the female aspect of this god-goddess relationship had a child out of wedlock. No, I'm sorry, was it out of wedlock? Yes. No, they cheated. So the female apparently was adulterous and cheated, and a child came out of that adultery. The child, rather than being killed, was given to the centaur Chiron to be raised. So by being a so-called bastard, because they were conceived from adultery, they were sent as to the centaur, which was an outlier. However, the centaur Chiron was trained in the mystical, magical healing arts, and the Chiron, the centaur, trained this child to do the same thing. The child was called Cephalus. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. However, what happened was the bigger gods like Zeus and Hades started to notice this child, Cephalus. And Cephalus had learnt how to raise the dead by watching other outlier type mythical creatures raise a dead snake, which is what then Cephalus could do. Hades got upset. Hades, being the god of the underworld, said, no, I don't think I like this knowledge being ubiquitous out there. So Zeus, you need to do something. You need to get rid of Cephalus, because otherwise I'm not going to have enough people coming to the underworld. So can you hear the moral or the myth in that story, where the underworld, death, was afraid, well, if I heal too many people, if they heal too many people, we won't have people coming to the underworld. And then the underworld talking to the light-filled world, so the sun, like Zeus, and saying, well, you've got to do something about this, because we've still got to have the light and the dark. But the shadow aspect of this myth is that Zeus killed the child because, well, it wasn't a child when he killed it, because Hades was upset. So there's a shadow aspect there where the healing, we couldn't have this gift of knowing how to heal ourselves. And so that's a wound. The collective, society and culture, received a wound there because we knew this alchemy, we knew this magic, we knew this gift of healing, and it got taken away from us and put in the outliers, put in the outskirts of our consciousness. So that's a very abbreviated my understanding of the myth of Chiron, and that also links to the myth of Ophiuchus as well, which is the 13th constellation, which got deleted. And there's a female aspect to that as well, and you can hear that in the myth, in that Coronis, I think it was, who was in a relationship with Apollo and apparently cheated, and she had to be punished because she'd apparently cheated by, removing the child from her. That's some heavy stuff. That's going to cause a wound to a mother when you remove the child from a mother. So that's a significant wound that Coronis would have experienced. Then, the child had special skills that they had learnt, and then they were killed because, well, you know too much. And it was around the same time that the feminine, the divine feminine, was being deleted from culture and society, because apparently we were too emotional and flighty and wouldn't be consistent and have continuity in the management of empires, so we'll take women out of it. Ophiuchus was deleted from the constellation. We have to take out these healing powers that the feminine were appearing to be quite strong in. So that's me touching on that subject. But with Chiron starting to go forward now, is that your healing of wounds can start to move forward now. So you can start to embrace any aspect of the self that you have healed over the last 12 months as part of your alchemy, we shouldn't be looking at our wounds and the things that trigger us and perhaps how we drop into survival mode, as other people might refer to that as baggage, as bad things. They're things that have happened. They carried a charge for us to change and do things differently in our life. And if you have healed yourself, and we've all healed ourselves, I guarantee it, that is part of your power and that is part of your alchemy. So embrace it over the next several months before Chiron goes backwards again and we're asked to re-examine our wounds and do some more healing. Tuesday, let's see what's happening on Tuesday. So that's Monday. Monday's a big day. Tuesday, the 21st of December, we have Aries, Trine, Mercury in Sag. So let's talk about this archetypal energy. Uranus is the visionary warrior. It's also still retrograde. So I kind of feel like this is the visionary wanting to wage war on the things they want to change in the collective. So this is collective energy. However, it's retrograde. So it's the visionary perhaps taking stock a little bit. What is my why? Is my why big enough, or is it self-serving? Now, when it's in Aries, you've got to be very careful that your why and your mission and how you act and focus isn't self-serving and egotistical. So take that on board, that archetypal energy on board when you're examining yourself, and all good visionaries and all good warriors are capable of examining the self. If you are not capable of examining yourself, I would suggest that you need to look at your subconscious and question why you can't have self-reflection. This energy, this visionary warrior in review energy, is flowing very easy to our mind. Mercury in Sagittarius. The mind in Sagittarius wants to expand and explore and be curious and look at different philosophies and cultures. The visionary warrior in review is accepting the mind to allow it to be curious. There's this burning passion and fire, and the mind's like, we need more information here. We need to be more broad-minded, open-minded as to how this can help the collective. Because Uranus helped the collective, Sagittarius is much more expansive and much more interested at a collective level rather than the self, whereas Aries is very much about the self. And the mind is very much about the self. So we're trying to balance out here the self and the collective by examining beyond our comfort zone. This is easy to do now. So embrace it. If you're examining your beliefs, if you're examining your philosophies, if you're like, oh, that doesn't sit right with me, or you're like, oh, I really like that modality or that philosophy, like, hello, astrology, hello, 13 sign sidereal astrology, if anyone's interested, going in and exploring that and being open-minded. So if you're like, I much prefer tropical astrology, it's like, well, but have you looked at 13 sign sidereal astrology? Have you been open-minded enough to sit in the discomfort that I'm going to tell you that your sun was not where you think it was when you were born? That's being open-minded, and that can fuel your vision so that then you can act from that place, and that you're a collective-driven visionary warrior, not self-serving, egotistical visionary warrior. We don't want those. And I think we can see a few of those in the world at the moment. Wednesday, I'm not going to talk about anything that's happening on Wednesday, but Thursday I am going to talk about what's happening. And this is incoming energy that's going to be hanging around for quite a little while. So I thought it'd be great to start talking about it here. Now, I've just mentioned Uranus was trine the sun, and that energy disappears quite quickly. So use it while it's around to get your mind on board, because what's going to happen next is we've got this visionary warrior in review squaring the Capricorn energy that's going to start building over the next few weeks. It's square Saturn. So let's talk about Saturn in Capricorn. Saturn is our leader energy. It's our expertness. It's our consistency. It's our continuity. It's our deeply integrated methods. It's what we build our foundations from. If you don't have those, you cannot be a visionary warrior. Now, what may have happened over the last 12 months is you may have needed to integrate new core methodologies. You may have had to step up and become a leader in your field. And with a square to Uranus, I might suggest that you might be feeling a couple of things. I'm not conveying my message well enough. I'm not conveying my vision well enough. No one can see or hear me. My vision isn't urgent enough. So you're stepping into this leadership role, and when that happens, regardless of whether it's in your life or your career or your business, because you're pushing up against an area that you may not have stepped into before, you're going to get your subconscious going, whoo, or your ego going, whoo, what is that? What is that? Okay, we're going to go into protection mode and tell them, don't do that. You're not good enough. Don't do that. Okay? So this is a message to just be aware that these fears could come up. Not saying that they are, but if you find yourself thinking that what you've achieved and what you're doing and where you're moving to with your vision and your message and how you want to act and focus and how you want to be seen as a leader going forward in your life for the next 30 years, because Saturn's not going to come back into Capricorn for 30 years. We've got one more year with Saturn in Capricorn, and then 29, 30 years, that's it. So you've really got an opportunity here now to integrate the leader within you as an expert within your field. So we must overcome limits when we do that. And how do you do that? We counter the fears that I've described, which are those of the saboteur. We'll sabotage ourselves from stepping up into either a better career or shifting up into a more senior position or starting our own business or starting your business on the side while you're still working a day job. We'll sabotage ourselves. So we always counter the saboteur with choice. You have a choice. My suggestion over the next several weeks, particularly over the holiday season with what's also going on in some other astrological patterns that I will describe, is for you to take a break, to rest and review, to lay everything out, and to really fall in love with your methods and to know them and to go, it's okay, I don't need to know everything, but I am a leader in this. This is what I am a leader in, and I can talk about it and I can do it, and I know it is deeply integrated within me and my values. And if none of those things are true for that, then there has to be something else, and you're basically wiping the slate clean and you can start afresh, and that's okay too. So that is some of the energy that starts to come in on Thursday, the 23rd of December, but it's going to be there for a little while. You'll notice that this square energy from Uranus over to Capricorn is hanging about for a bit. So that was Thursday. Christmas Eve, which is actually quite nice energy for Christmas Eve, we have Chiron, Trine, Mars. So this is a watery energy. I feel there can be some real healing here around our intimate relationships. And this is a wonderful time of year because around the 24th of December, we're probably starting to catch up with people that maybe we don't see very often. Perhaps they are members of our family or members that or friends that are really close to us, but perhaps because we are so deeply connected with them and so they know us so well, you might get triggered. So the triggering may have happened last week when Mars started to move into Scorpio, but now as we've progressed into the second week that Mars is in Scorpio, and it's making a lovely trine with Chiron, which is now moving forward, it means that you can step into that really watery element. Allow yourself to feel your feelings. There's nothing wrong with that. And know that you have done the work. Know that you have felt those triggers as activations, and that you have shone the light on yourself and you haven't started throwing blame bombs at everyone and blaming everyone for your response to them. than that you've actually shifted your perspective because something's triggered you, and rather than blaming someone else, you've shone the light on yourself. And I want you to feel really proud of yourself and embrace that as you're healing. And if you still need to do that around the Christmas period, you're supported to do that. Christmas Day, Christmas Day. What's happening on Christmas Day? Pluto and Venus are conjunct on Christmas Day in Sagittarius. Okay, and Venus is retrograde as well. So let's unpack the energy here. We have the destroyer with Pluto. That's destructive energy. The Pluto is not interested in your comfort. Pluto is not interested in control. Pluto is interested in chaos to get us to come back into interconnection with our cosmological and ecological selves. That's my interpretation of Pluto. It is very destructive energy. It wants us to step into our higher potential. It wants us to embrace both the logical and the analytical and the spiritual and bring it back together for this age. That is my interpretation of that. Coupled with Venus, Venus as the war goddess, Inanna, went into the underworld. Retrograde, that is where Venus is. So you may need to be traversing the deep, dark depths of your subconscious and clearing ego-held beliefs out while also having interpersonal relationships with people that trigger you deeply. So ensure that you can find some space for yourself to support your body, because Venus is about our body, to support your body and allow yourself to ride with any changes that are happening or any chaos that occurs. It might be more collective chaos that occurs. I'm not making any predictions there. We'll see what happens. These two planets coming together at this time of year really wants us to liberate from beliefs that are holding us back. This can really allow us, support us to step into our leadership. So embrace it and allow yourself some time and some space. Take some time for your body. We've still got this beautiful trine energy here with water. So perhaps take a bath, honor water, do a meditation that's connected with water, and allow whatever the junk that ego wants to bring up for you and that it can purge out. And again, try not to throw those blame bombs, but use it as a tool for introspection before you step out and take action. You may need to hold dear boundaries. So just notice that Pluto can also give you power if your boundaries are really pushed. I'm certainly not saying be a pushover here. If your boundaries are really pushed by any particular family member or close relation, you will need to stand up for yourself and find the support from Pluto to do that. So that is Saturday the 25th, Boxing Day, 26th of December. We have a bit more energy building in Sagittarius. So you can see we've got the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Pluto. So this really is a time, and with Venus retrograde, this really is a time to take some space for yourself. You can have fun. Sagittarius energy is quite fun. It is quite curious. It is quite exploratory, but it's not really about big decision making at the moment. So feel into that so that when the new year gets going, you can feel refreshed and renewed and like you did have a bit of a basement clear out or a limiting belief clear out. So that's it for the astrology for the week of the 20th of December. If you would like to work with me, you can go and check out my website, kellygunter.com. Please subscribe to this channel. I will be having weekly astrology updates, all 13 sign sidereal astrology updates. I have daily shorts going in, not all the time, but occasionally, and you'll get little snippets of extra information on significant planetary movements. If that's something you'd be interested to do, please hit subscribe, go check out kellygunter.com, and if you would like, sign up for a birth chart. That's it from me this week. Have a glorious holiday season, and I will see you next week. Bye.